Alright guys, welcome back to Reading the Bible with me. Sorry it took me so long to make another video, but we're on Genesis chapter 29. And I'm going to do the side by side if you can read it. Probably not. I'm not going to do that. Never mind. Alright, let's... Okay. Alright, this is the King James Version right there. Then Jacob went on his journey, and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked and beheld a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, whence be ye? And they said, Of Haran are we. And he said unto them, Know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, fudge. I got this new goose neck holder that I keep bumping into. It's driving me bananas. All right. He is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go feed them. And they said, We cannot, until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. Oh, he's a bossy little thing, isn't he? And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. Well, isn't he a little touchy-feely guy? All right, scrolling. Okay, my glasses are falling down my nose. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him in the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. Interesting. So it says over here that Leah's eyes were weak. So I guess she needed glasses like me. I don't know how to thank it. Alright. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, his maid, for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did I not serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou hast served with me yet 7 other years. Ooh. That was confusing. Hang a sec. Let's... Alright. Let's see. And in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And Jacob said to Laban, What is this you have done to me? Did I not serve with you for Rachel? Why then have you deceived me? And Laban said, It is not so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Complete the week of this one, because their marriages lasted a week. So it was they were still doing, I believe, the wedding ceremony. And we will give you the other also in return for serving me another 7 years. Okay. Okay. Let's see if I'm going to bring this puppy a little bit closer. Oh, it becomes all weird looking. I don't like that. If I know that doesn't... Yeah, that'll do. Alright. Now this side, I have to put it back where it was. Okay, so he told him that fulfill the week, and then he will give Rachel to him for another 7 years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet another 7 years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her He opened her womb. But Rachel was barren, and Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, Surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction, now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. See, there is a part in this later on in Leviticus, where it talks about if the wife is hated. So there's a law about that in Leviticus. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again, and bare a son. And she said, Now I will praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing. Okay, so then this side, she said, This time I will praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah. Then she ceased bearing. So she had all of these sons first, and then she bore no more children. All right, Genesis chapter 30. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister. She said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I'll die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. Interesting. Okay, so that sounds weird. She's gonna bear her children on. So we'll go over here. And she says, Then she said, Here is my servant Bilhah. Go into her, that she may give birth on my behalf, that even I may have children through her. Okay, so that made a little more sense. Okay. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore she called his name Dan. That's weird to think of keeping someone else's child. Okay. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bears Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. Yeah, all right then. When Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, A troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. Blast the thing, I keep whacking it. And she said unto her, Is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldst thou take away my son's mandrakes also? Ooh, sister fight. I know all about those, but not with men. Sisters should never go with the same men. And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Rachel just totally sold her husband to her sister for the night. She's like, Oh, well then, for your mandrakes, you shall sleep with husband face. I can't believe that's craziness. All right. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and bare Jacob the 5th son. Whew, Lordy. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my handmaiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. I could cook her. Anyway, that name right there. And Leah conceived again, and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, God hath endured with me a good dowry. Now my husband will dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. Yeah, right then. And afterwards she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah. A lot of, not a lot, I guess a normal amount of laws come because of Dinah. Oh, whoops. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, The Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go unto my own place, and to my country. Give me my wives and my children, blast thing, for whom I have served thee, and let me go. For thou knowest my service which I have done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that God hath blessed me for thy sake. And he said, Appoint me thy wages, and I will give it thee. And I will give it. I'm just adding words, which you're not supposed to do, because in the Bible it says, do not add and do not take away from the book, lest you die. I'm just kidding. It probably says that. All right. Let's see, where did it say? Let's see. Okay. So this part was a teensy bit confusing. I mean, I understood, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes. So he's like basically begging. And he says, stay here, for I noticed that God blesses me because of you. And he says, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. Over here, oh no, don't fall off. All right. Oh, okay. So over here, he says, he's talking about giving him and his wives, and he's like, I have learned by divination, which that's an incorrect word. How dare you, English Standard Version. It says, name your wages and I will give it to you. So he's telling him, tell me how much it's going to cost me to make you stay. Okay, so we're down here. And he said unto him, Thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hast before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And the Lord hath blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for mine own house also? And he said, What shall I give thee? And Jacob said, Thou shalt not give me anything, if thou wilt do this thing for me. I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be my hire. So he's saying that he will keep his flock, and in return he will take all of the speckled and the spotted cattle and all of the brown cattle from among the sheep, and the spotted and the speckled goats. Those are the coats, the way they look. So in return, he will be able to take all of those with him when he leaves. So shall my righteous answer for me in time to come, when it shall come by for my hire before thy face. Whew. I don't know what is wrong with me today. Oh yeah, I'm half asleep. Every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. Okay. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. Whew, that was a mouthful. And I'm tired. I'm going to go back to bed. Oh, too bad I'm working. And he removed that day the he-goats that were ring-straked and spotted, and all the she-goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar, and of the hazel and the chestnut tree, and piled white strakes in them. And he made the white appear which was in the rods. And, okay, why is that? That is confusing me, but it's probably just because I'm so tired. Okay. Alright, so it says, this is the English Standard Version. It says, Then Jacob took fresh sticks of poplar and almond and plane trees, and peeled white streaks in them, exposing the white of the sticks. He set the sticks that he had peeled in front of the flocks in the troughs, that is, the watering places, where the flocks came to drink. And since they bred when they came to drink, the flocks bred in front of the sticks. And so the flocks brought forth striped, speckled, and spotted. Okay. All right. Which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had piled before the flocks in the gutters, in the watering troughs, when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle, ring-straked, speckled, and spotted. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the ring-straked, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods. That's intriguingly strange. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. Wow. See, that's being smart as a serpent and harmless as a dove. And the man increased stupid words. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maid servants, and manservants, and camels, and asses. Donkeys. Alright, that's it for this video. That was 29 and 30.